Question stands in the name of the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement with respect to the payment of a dividend by a state-owned enterprise, that the government expected to receive a return from them because, quote, in his words, if we don't, how do we pay for our doctors and hospitals and the likes, end quote?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr Speaker, in taking $700 million in dividends from the three state-owned enterprise power companies last year, how much of that dividend went to pay for social benefits to the communities, such as doctors, hospitals and the likes?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, given the government collects revenue through a huge number of ways, personal and indirect taxation, other forms of taxation, levies and charges, it's impossible to exactly know, but it's possible it was all of it.
The Honourable Leader of the
Mr
Opposition.
Speaker, if those power companies that all of us as Kiwis own right now are so profitable that the dividends cover not only reinvestment back into generation, but also huge social dividends to the community, why does he intend to flog off the shares in those companies so that the profit goes to private interests and to foreign companies instead of back into the community?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, because it's the government's intention to use the proceeds of those IPOs to actually invest in other assets that the government would have to fund through the government bond rate, or potentially to put into other aspects which are generating income.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, did the Treasury advise his government that even the partial privatisation of those companies would within 10 years result in the cornerstone shareholder being a foreign multinational company?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, under the model that's been proposed by the government, although we're seeking further advice on it, I don't think that would actually be possible, because 51% will be controlled by the Crown. Therefore, the cornerstone shareholder will in fact be the Crown. There will be other investors, of course, but given Kiwi mums and dads will be at the front, along with the 1.6 million KiwiSaver accounts, plus the Crown entities that will invest, the largest shareholder will, of course, be the Crown.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Is the Prime Minister saying that Treasury was wrong in saying that a cornerstone shareholder actually could be a foreign multinational company, notwithstanding that he was holding 51% of the shares?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, they didn't say that.
The Honourable Sir Roger Douglas.
Mr Speaker, could the Minister explain to the House and to the Honourable Phil Goff why 50% increases in productivity among reformed state-owned enterprises was more important to New Zealand than dividend considerations, and in fact dividends naturally flow from increased level of productivity while prices fall?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, because the majority of electricity generation assets in this country are owned by the government. Therefore, if those businesses aren't as efficient or as effective as they can be, then New Zealanders ultimately pay more than for those services than they should do. If we look at the Labor government between 1999 and 2008, what we see is that not only did they not maximise their returns, but actually prices went up 72% under that government. So we certainly know that that model hasn't worked that well.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Supplementary question. Contrary to what the Prime Minister has just answered, isn't it correct that actually Treasury told him that there was little evidence that privatisation would lead to improved financial performance from the SOEs? If so, why risk privatising them when the past experience has been with Air New Zealand that it was run into bankruptcy, and with New Zealand Rail that it was asset stripped?
The Right Honourable
Mr
Prime
Speaker, well,
Minister.
it's funny that the member should mention those, because if it's such a bad model, can you just explain why he didn't buy 100% of Air New Zealand when he had the chance? And secondly, can you explain why, given we bought Kiwi Rail, we're now having to put $4 billion into fixing it up?
Question number 2, Materia Ture. Order.